Welcome back to Behind Marketing Lines. I'm your host, Zeeshan, and today we are diving into a topic that is often misunderstood but incredibly powerful: attribution modeling. Now, in today's complex digital marketing world, businesses use multiple touchpoints to interact with customers. You've got your ads, social media posts, email campaigns, website visits, and more. So the question is, how do you know which of these touchpoints is driving conversions? How do you determine what's actually working? That's where attribution modeling comes in. In today's episode, we'll break down what attribution modeling is, why it matters, the different type of models, and how you can implement it to maximize the effectiveness of your marketing efforts. Let's get started. First things first, what exactly is attribution modeling? Attribution modeling is a framework that helps businesses understand the customer journey by assigning value to the various touchpoints that lead to a conversion. In other words, it answers the question, which marketing efforts contributed to the sale or conversion? Imagine someone sees one of your Facebook ads, then clicks on an email you sent, visits your website, and finally makes a purchase. Without an attribution model in place, how do you know whether it was a Facebook ad, the email, or the website visit that drove the sale? Attribution models help you map out which channels or touchpoints deserve the credit for that conversion. And here is why it's important. If you don't understand which touchpoints are working, you're essentially flying blind. You might end up spending more on channels that aren't contributing much to your bottom line while under-investing in the channels that are. Okay, now that we have defined what attribution modeling is, let's dive into why it matters. Why should you care about this as a marketer or business owner? First and foremost, attribution modeling provides insights that lead to better decision making. By understanding which marketing efforts are contributing to conversions, you can allocate your budget more effectively. For example, if your model shows that paid research is driving the majority of your conversions, you know that increasing your investment in that channel is a smart move. Secondly, attribution modeling helps you optimize your marketing mix. Most businesses rely on multiple channels: social media, paid ads, email marketing, organic search, etc. But without an attribution model, you cannot accurately measure how these channels are working together. With proper attribution, you can see how each channel plays a role in the overall customer journey. Finally, it helps you track the full customer journey. In today's digital landscape, people rarely convert on their first interaction. Attribution model gives you a fuller picture of the entire path to conversion, so you can better understand how your audience interacts with your brand over time. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of attribution modeling by discussing the different types of models you can use. There is no one-size-fits-all approach, so it's important to understand the various models and how they work. First touch attribution gives 100% of the credit to the first touch point that brought the customer to your brand. This model is useful when your goal is to understand what's driving initial brand awareness. However, it overlooks the impact of other touchpoints that led to the conversion. Then there is last touch attribution. This model gives all the credit to the last interaction a customer had before converting. For example, if someone clicked on a Google ad and then made a purchase, last touch attribution would assign all the credit to that ad. While the model is straightforward, it can be misleading because it ignores the importance of earlier touchpoints. Then we have the linear attribution. Linear attribution spreads the credit equally across all touchpoints. So if a customer interacted with your brand through a Facebook ad, an email, and a blog post before converting, each touchpoint would receive equal credit. This is a balanced approach but doesn't prioritize any touchpoints that may have had a bigger influence. Another one is time decay attribution. This type of attribution gives more weight to the touchpoint that occurred closer to the conversion. For example, if someone clicked on an email a week before purchasing but saw a display ad right before buying, the display ad would get more credit. This model helps you understand which interactions had the most influence near the point of sale. Then we have a position-based attribution or a U-shaped attribution. In this model, the first and the last touch points receive the most credit while the middle interactions are given less weight. This is useful when you want to emphasize both brand discovery and conversion. The U-shaped model balances both awareness and closing touchpoints. And finally, we have the custom attribution models. These models allow you to create your own rules based on your business goals. You can assign different weights to each touchpoint based on its importance in your customer journey. While this approach requires more work, it's also the most flexible and tailored to your specific needs. Attribution modeling is powerful, but it's also easy to make mistakes that can lead to skewed results. Let's go over some common pitfalls. The first one being relying on a single model. One of the biggest mistakes is using only one attribution model across the brand. The reality is that no single model is perfect. Different models can offer different insights, so it's often useful to compare multiple models to get a fuller picture of your marketing effectiveness. The second one is ignoring offline touchpoints. While most attribution models focus on digital interactions, many businesses forget about offline touchpoints like in-person events or phone calls. If you're running both online and offline campaigns, make sure your attribution model accounts for all customer interactions. The third one is not using enough data. Attribution models rely on large data sets to be accurate. If you are basing a decision on a small sample size, your insights could be misleading. Make sure you're working with enough data to draw meaningful conclusions. Another one is overcomplicating the process. While custom models can be effective, they can also become overcomplicated. Sometimes simple models like first touch or last touch attribution can provide the clarity you need. Some businesses focus too heavily on the immediate conversion and forget about the longer customer journey. Attribution models should also consider how touchpoints contribute to customer retention and CLV. Now let's talk about implementing attribution models. So how can you start implementing attribution models in your business today? Here are a few practical steps. Choose the right tools. Tools like Google Analytics, HubSpot, and Salesforce offer built-in attribution modeling features. Make sure you're using a platform that aligns with your business's marketing ecosystem. Then set clear goals. Before choosing a model, define what you want to achieve. Are you looking to improve brand awareness, driving more conversions? Each goal might require a different attribution model. Start with a simple model. If you're new to attribution modeling, start with a simple model like first touch or last touch attribution. As you get more comfortable, you can experiment with more complex models. Analyze and adjust. Attribution modeling isn't a set it and forget it process. Continuously analyze your results, compare different models, and adjust your marketing strategy based on what's working. Consider the full customer journey. Remember that conversions don't always happen right away. Make sure your attribution model takes into account the entire customer journey from awareness to post-purchase interactions. Don't forget about cross-channel integration. When setting up attribution models, remember that your customers don't interact with just one channel. They might start their journey on social media, move to your website, and finally convert via an email campaign. Make sure your models integrate data from all these channels for an accurate picture. And do involve your team. Attribution modeling isn't just for your marketing department. It should involve inputs from sales, customer service, and any other team that interacts with your customers. Getting everyone on the same page will ensure that the model reflects the true customer journey. And I'm sure that by following these steps, you'll be on your way to unlocking the full potential of attribution modeling, which will lead to more informed decisions, better budget allocation, and ultimately a higher return on investment. So, to wrap things up, attribution modeling is one of the most powerful tools you can use to truly understand what's driving conversions in your business. Whether it's a first touch, last touch, or a custom model, understanding the customer journey will allow you to optimize your marketing efforts, allocate your budget more effectively, and make data-driven decisions. The key takeaway here is that there is no one-size-fits-all model. It's about understanding your business goals, your customer journey, and using the data you have to make smarter decisions. And remember, it's a continuous process. You should always be analyzing, adjusting, and refining your models as you gather more data. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Behind Marketing Lines. If you found this episode useful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your network. And as always, take action. Start experimenting with different attribution models and see how they can transform your marketing strategy. Until next time, keep optimizing and growing.